As we go through life, the allure of becoming our best selves is often hampered by habits and behaviors that make us less attractive. Why do we sometimes act in ways that turn people off? Could it be that in our desire to connect with others, we unintentionally adopt patterns that make us less attractive? Today, we're going to take a serious look at 5 habits and behaviors that can make you much less attractive. This study isn't just about finding flaws, it's also about getting to know them well and learning how to fix them by using the knowledge of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, a great Stoic thinker, once said that all you need to make your life happy is to change the way you think. How often do we look to others for approval, happiness, or success when the source of these things lies within? Are we guilty of letting these bad habits define us, or are we ready to push ourselves to grow? Besides them, Stoicism, which has a long history of focusing on self-control, virtue, and understanding, can help us understand why these behaviors are seen as undesirable and how we can change our actions to match the traits that people really like by following Stoic principles. We can learn to develop habits that will not only make our relationships better, but also help us live a happier, more peaceful, and more successful life. Let this journey be one of discovery, where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism shows us the way to our best selves. Are you ready to think about these habits and see how Stoic teachings can help you change them? Come with us as we explore the deep yet useful ways that Stoicism can help us get past the things that make us less beautiful and reach our full potential. Leave a comment if you're ready to start the journey today. Number 1. Brag. People often think that talking is a sign of needing approval from others instead of a sign of real self-esteem. That kind of behavior, where someone praises themselves too much, not only makes them less attractive, but it also hurts real relationships with other people. Stoic philosophy, which stresses humility and self-control, can teach us a lot about why talking is so bad. Think of Epictetus was a Greek Stoic philosopher who taught people to look inside themselves for approval, instead of looking for it from other people. He once said, "If you want to be loved, love." This simple but deep advice shows how Stoics believe that people should control their own actions and attitudes instead of trying to change how others see them by bragging. Why do people brag? Is it a sign of pride, or is it a way to hide feelings of insecurity? Think about times when someone bragged. Did it make you want to be closer to them or push you away? Stoicism tells us that real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to brag about its wins or make loud statements to fit in. Epictetus also said that what counts is not what happens to you, but how you deal with it. This is especially helpful for learning why bragging isn't attractive. It implies a reactive approach to self-esteem that depends a lot on how other people behave, which is hard to predict and usually only shows what's on the surface. Stoicism tells us to take charge of our self-worth by developing virtues like discipline, courage, and humility that don't change based on what other people think. So how can we use this Stoic wisdom to become more attractive not just on the outside, but in a deep and important way? First, recognize your own accomplishments without putting others down. Then, share your wins in a way that includes and values the work of others. Can you remember a time when someone shared their success with humility? How did that make you feel about that person? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, gave advice that will never go out of style. Being different from the person who hurt you is the best way to get back at them. If someone's bragging has turned you off, choose to be different. Choose humility over arrogance. Choose sharing over boasting. This will not only boost your self-esteem, but it will also earn you respect and admiration from others, Remember that bragging only drowns out the voice of true virtue. Instead of bragging, try stoic humility and think about your daily actions every night. Ask yourself, were my actions today reflective of the virtues I aspire to embody? How can I improve? By giving up bragging and embracing stoic humility, you pave the way for a life full of real relationships and self-respect. This change not only makes you more appealing to others, but it also sets you on the path to happiness and inner peace. Remember that if you want to live a full life, your actions and morals should guide you, not your words. The verb brag means to show off or talk too much about one's accomplishments, skills, belongings, or experiences. It means showing pride or happiness in yourself in a way that might come across as cocky or self-centered. Reason: people often brag to get other people's attention, respect, or approval. To establish dominance, raise one's standing, or make up for feelings of insecurity, this can be done. Effects: bragging once in a while might not hurt anyone, and might even be useful in some social situations. But bragging too much can turn people off and make them angry. It can hurt relationships because it can make other people feel less important or ignored. Instead of talking, people can work on having real self-confidence, being humble, and understanding others. Sharing your accomplishments in a humble and modest way, recognizing others' efforts, and being interested in what they have to say can help build good relationships. Being self-aware. Knowing when to stop talking too much and how it makes you look bad is important. Learning more about yourself and how bragging affects other people can help people improve their relationships and make deeper connections. Bragged about something is a normal thing that many of us do from time to time. Boasting can be a way to connect with others and show pride in ourselves, whether it's about work successes, personal skills, or exciting experiences. But it's important to find a balance between bragging about our accomplishments and respecting other people's thoughts and feelings. This lesson will go into more depth about the idea of bragging, including what it is, why people do it, how it affects others, what alternatives there are, and how important it is to be self-aware when communicating. Number 2, able to react. Reactivity, the tendency to react to situations without thinking them through, is a behavior trait that can make a person less attractive and less effective in life. Stoic philosophy, which puts a lot of emphasis on self-control and logic, can help you understand why this trait is bad and how to develop a more calm attitude. Think about what Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave and went through many hard times, had to say. Despite these problems, he became famous for his unwavering calm and knowledge. Epictetus once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to it." His life and words have become famous, to emphasize the somber idea that we don't have control over outside events, but over how we react to them. Why is being emotional seen as unattractive? Have you ever seen someone lose their cool in a tough situation? What was your first reaction to their outburst? Most of the time, uncontrolled reactions lead to negative judgments because people value people who can stay calm under pressure. For example, Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor who was a Stoic philosopher and faced huge pressures on the battlefield and in his administrative duties. Despite these stresses, he is remembered for his philosophical reflections on how to stay calm. Understand this, and you will be strong. The example of Marcus Aurelius shows that you can win respect and true leadership by staying calm and thoughtful no matter what is going on around you. How can you use these Stoic ideas to make your own life less reactive? Start by paying attention to how you react right away in different situations. What makes you act without thinking? Can you spot patterns? Being Stoic teaches us to think and pause before responding. which is good for our relationships and our self-respect. The Epic of Titus also gives us useful advice. Don't just talk about your philosophy, live it. If you live by a philosophy of calm and reasoned responses, you'll become more attractive and powerful on your own. This method doesn't mean hiding your feelings. Instead, it means controlling them in a way that fits your values and the needs of the situation. Now think about how changing your reaction to something into a reflection could change your life. What if instead of getting angry at something, you responded with understanding? What if instead of acting on a desire right away, you took a moment to think about how it would affect you in the long run? This is how you can become less reactive and more reflective. This change not only makes you more attractive to other people, but it also makes you happier and more successful in your personal goals. Allow this message to hit home for you and strive to be the person who faces problems with a calm and steady heart. Adopting the Stoic practice of reflecting over reacting will not only improve how others see you, but it will also help you live a fuller, happier life. Remember that the goal is not to feel less, but to let your feelings guide your actions less impulsively. By doing this, you embody the wisdom that has made Stoic philosophy a beacon of strength for hundreds of years. How do you deal with reaction in your own life right now? What methods have worked for you? Leave your ideas and stories in the comments section below. We'd love to hear how you use Stoic principles to deal with everyday problems. In a world full of uncertainty and quick changes, being able to respond well is essential for success. Being able to react quickly and correctly can make all the difference, whether you're at work or at home. 1. Adaptability. When you need to react well, you need to be able to change. Accept that things will change and be ready to make changes to your plans or tactics when you need to. Develop an attitude that does well in uncertain situations and sees problems as chances to learn and grow. 2. Situation. Assessment. Carefully look at the situation before you do anything. Get information. Think about the choices you have and imagine what might happen. This way of critical thinking helps people make smart choices even when they are under a lot of stress. 3. Making quick decisions. It's important to think about what's going on, but don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Especially in places where things move quickly, time is often of the key. Learn how to quickly make choices based on the knowledge you have access to and your own best judgment. 4. Good communication. When responding to events or problems, it's important to communicate in a clear and concise way. Whether you're running a group or working with other people, make sure that information gets across clearly and quickly. This makes it easier for people to work together, clears up confusion, and solves problems quickly. 5. Learn from feedback. After you've responded to a situation, think about what happened. What did well? How could things have been done better? Accept feedback, whether it's good or bad, because it helps you figure out how to behave in the future. To master the skill of being able to respond well, you need to keep learning and getting better. If you can master these 5 points, you'll be better prepared to handle the unexpected turns and twists that life gives you, letting you move with confidence and speed. Number 3. Not having any goals. Desire to. The word ambition makes you think of goals that you want to reach and often go beyond. But what does ambition really mean from a Stoic point of view? This old theory asks us to look at the nature of our drive and peel back the layers of our desires to find their core. Is our ambition just a shadow that wants to be noticed by others, or does it shine as a light that leads us to personal growth and moral living? Being tough, a way of thinking that prizes goodness and self-control. Above all else is a deep re-evaluation of what it means to be ambitious. Stoics like Sina, who lived through the dangerous waters of Roman politics, remind us that real ambition isn't about how high we climb, but how deep we go as a person. Seneca's life and works can help people who are trying to figure out where their own ambitions come from. The tempting allure of power and status, with sharp questions. What good are lots of books and libraries if the owner can't take in even one principle and make it his own? This question forces us to think about whether our goals lead to real knowledge or just become useless possessions that gather dust. When was the last time you really felt satisfied by an accomplishment? Was it the praise from others that made you feel good, or did you feel better inside knowing that you had grown in some meaningful way? Stoic philosophy tells us to focus on the latter, creating goals that aren't based on the cheers of the crowd, but on the steady growth of the soul epicus. Another great figure in the Stoic school said it very well. First, tell yourself what kind of person you want to be, and then do what you need to do. This simple rule gets to the heart of Stoic desire. Visualizing the virtuous person you want to become and acting in line with that image is what Stoic ambition is all about. Stoic ambition is about self-improvement and resilience rather than conquest and collection. In today's world, ambition often means a never-ending search for more money, fame, and power. But Stoicism tells us to question these pursuits. Are they making our lives better or just more difficult? Are we chasing shadows instead of cultivating substance? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor, said, "The only wealth you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away." In his view, ambition should not only be seen as a way to achieve personal goals, but also as a way to help others. This new definition not only gives us a higher purpose, but it also makes us more attractive as people who care about the common good. In your own life, how can you use your ambitions to not only move forward, but also help others along the way? How can your goals contribute to a larger tapestry of communal, and this shift in thinking can lead to a happier, more peaceful, and ultimately successful life, where our goals reflect our deepest values and hopes? So let's choose to see our goals not as ends in themselves, but as means to a greater end, a life of virtue, wisdom, and genuine happiness. This is the real promise of Stoic ambition, not a trophy room full of accomplishments, but a soul strengthened by purpose and filled with service to others. Setting goals gives your life direction, meaning, and drive, but some people may feel lost because they don't have any clear goals to work toward. This lack of direction can make people feel like they have nowhere to go and are stuck. Clarity and focus. Goals help us stay on track by directing our actions and choices toward a clear end point. If you don't have them, it's easy to get lost in all the things that life has to offer. Setting clear goals helps us organize our work and keep our attention on what's important. Sense of achievement. When you reach your goals, you'll feel like you've accomplished something important. They give us something to work toward and make us feel good about our progress as we hit important milestones. If you don't have goals, you might just drift through life without getting anything done that makes you feel good. Drive and motivation. Setting goals gives you a sense of urgency and makes you want to act. They give us desire and drive, pushing us to get past problems and keep going even when things get hard. It's easy to lose focus and give up when you don't have any goals to work toward. This is called stagnation. Personal growth and development. Setting goals forces us out of our comfort zones, which helps us keep learning and growing. As we work toward our goals, they push us to gain new skills, information, and experiences. If you don't have goals, you might stay in the same place and miss out on chances to grow and improve yourself. Meaning and direction. Goals give us a feeling of direction and purpose in life, leading us to a life that is full and meaningful. They help us have a clear picture of the future we want and plan how to get there. Without goals to guide us, we might feel lost or unsure of how to move forward, which can make us unhappy and disappointed. To sum up, setting goals is important for personal growth, happiness, and success. They give us focus, drive, and direction, and they change our lives in important ways. Without goals, we might just float along without a plan, missing out on all the great things that life has to offer. In light of this, it is very important to set clear goals and passionately follow them. Number 4, needing something. How often do we look for other people's support to feel valued or appreciated? This is called neediness, and it can really hurt not only our relationships, but also our personal appeal. Stoic philosophy encourages people to be self-sufficient and emotionally strong. It encourages us to look within for approval, which gives us a sense of independence that is both freeing and attractive. Think about Epicurus, who was born into slavery but rose to become one of the most famous Stoic philosophers. His teachings stress how important it is to rely on oneself for emotional and psychological stability. He said that freedom is the only worthwhile goal in life because it lets us ignore things that are out of our control. This way of looking at things makes us think about our own tendencies toward neediness. Do we need other people's approval to feel good about ourselves? Are we letting other people decide our happiness? Why is neediness seen as a bad thing? If one person in a relationship depends too much on the other, the dynamics of that relationship are likely to be unbalanced and unhappy. People usually want to connect with people who seem confident and independent rather than emotionally dependent. Seneca's wise words are a powerful reminder that if you really want to get away from the things that bother you, you need to be a different person, not a different place. This statement encourages us to change on the inside instead of looking for approval from others. Instead of seeking approval from others, why not develop our own inner resources? How can you use Stoic ideas to get over your neediness? First, figure out where your self-esteem comes from. Is it mostly based on how other people see you? Or is it mainly based on your own successes and qualities that you recognize and choose for yourself? Seneca's life, which was full of political upheavals, shows us that true stability comes from within by showing us how to keep our ethics and inner peace even when things are uncertain in the outside world. Marcus Aurelius also talks about independence, saying that you are in charge of your own thoughts and not the events that happen around you. Realize this, and you will find strength. This strong insight tells us that we can keep our dignity and attractiveness no matter what by controlling our feelings and reactions. Think about how becoming more stoic might affect the way you engage with others. What if you worked on building your virtues instead of trying to get other people's approval? How would your relationships change if you were less needy and more able to take care of yourself? If you want to live a better, more peaceful, and more successful life, adopting the Stoic virtue of self-sufficiency can be life-changing. This way of thinking doesn't mean cutting yourself off from other people. Instead, it means strengthening your emotional core so that when you connect with others, it's because you want to grow together, not because you need emotional support. We need to do something about this. Develop your inner fortress and let it be the source of your approval instead of looking for it outside sources. Not only will this make you more attractive, but it will also help make interactions healthier and more balanced. Adopt the Stoic practice of self-sufficiency and see how it changes your life. As you become less needy and more confident, you'll find that not only do your relationships get better, but so does your overall happiness with life. What can you do today to begin the journey of becoming more independent and emotionally strong? Leave your plans and thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear about your work and new ideas. The idea of needing something is like a basic thread that runs through every part of our lives. The idea of need affects our choices, behaviors, and goals, whether the need is real or not. Understanding the nature of need gives us deep insights into how people act and how society works as a whole. From the most basic needs we have to survive to the complex wants that drive innovation and progress. Identification of needs. The first step toward satisfaction is to understand and name your needs. Needs can be very different, from physical ones like food, water, and a place to live to emotional ones like love, connection, and reaching your full potential. Every person goes through life with their own set of wants that are shaped by their own experiences, their culture, and the rules of society. Effects of needs. Not met. Needs that aren't met can show up in many forms, often causing dissatisfaction, anxiety, or anger. People may use unhealthy behaviors or ways of coping when their basic needs aren't met, which can hurt their general health and relationships. Knowing what happens when needs aren't met makes support systems and proactive action even more important. Maslow's hierarchy of wants is a model of human wants that was created by the famous psychologist Abraham Maslow. It shows needs in a hierarchy. In this model, basic bodily needs are at the bottom, and higher-level needs, like self-actualization, are at the top. Maslow's framework helps us understand what drives people and decide which solutions are most likely to meet their needs. Needs and wants. Being able to tell the difference between needs and wants is important for making smart choices and using resources well. Wants are often driven by preferences or needs that may not be necessary for living. Needs are important for staying alive and being healthy, but sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between wants and needs. This is especially true in consumer-driven countries, where marketing and social pressures can change how people see what they need. Satisfaction and fulfillment. Meeting your wants can help you feel fulfilled and satisfied, which is good for your mental and emotional health. However, meeting wants is more than just getting things. It also includes things like autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Creating a setting where people can meet their own needs and feel supported builds resilience, self-esteem, and overall health. Understanding how people need things changes, shows how complexly individual goals, social structures, and the search for human happiness are linked. By showing empathy, kindness, and proactive support, we can make spaces where everyone's needs are seen, appreciated, and met, which will help them grow and be happy. Number 5. Using self-deprecating humor. Explain what self-deprecating humor is. This type of humor involves making fun of oneself or bringing up one's flaws, weaknesses, or embarrassing moments in order to make people laugh. Building connections. Talk about how self-deprecating humor can help people feel connected to you by showing that you are open and humble. It can help people connect with you and break down boundaries. The right situation. Talk about how important it is to use self-deprecating humor in the right conditions, like when you're with friends or doing something fun. Stress how important it is to stay away from sensitive or hurtful subjects. Act of balancing. Stress how important it is to find a balance between putting yourself down and respecting yourself. It can be cute to make fun of yourself, but too much of it can hurt your confidence and make other people think badly of you. Impact and effectiveness. Look into how self-deprecating humor can calm people down, stop arguments, and make people like you more when used correctly. Encourage people to be moderate and aware of how other people might respond. Making fun of oneself is a form of self-deprecating humor that has been used for hundreds of years in social situations and for fun. From stand-up comedians to daily conversations, this kind of humor has its own special charm that can draw people in and help them connect. This lesson will go into more detail about how to use self-deprecating humor correctly. We will look at how it can help you build relationships, deal with social situations, and find a balance between being humble and being confident. This look into the art of self-deprecation will help you whether you want to add a little fun to your conversations or learn more about how it affects how people interact with each other. When used rarely, self-deprecating humor can help people be more humble and relatable. But when used too much, it can show low self-esteem and make someone look less attractive. Think about the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who was a Stoic philosopher and famous for his deep reflections on life and government. He believed in the importance of self-awareness and authenticity, often writing about how important it is to know yourself truly and show that person to the world without any masks. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your own self-awareness. Have you ever made fun of yourself to make a situation lighter or to seem more approachable? This can make social situations easier for a short time. Putting ourselves down too much can become a habit that makes us feel worse about ourselves instead of making others like us more. With its focus on toughness and honesty, Stoic philosophy offers a view on humor as a mirror of our inner state epicus. Another famous Stoic taught that we shouldn't base our identity on what other people think of us, but should instead build a strong foundation of self-respect and confidence within ourselves. He said, "What bothers us is not what happens to us, but our thoughts about what happens." It's important to think about what we're trying to achieve when we use self-deprecating humor. To get a good laugh, we think negative things about ourselves. How can we use Stoic principles to use humor well without hurting our self-worth? First, we need to be aware of what our humor is really for. Is it a shield to hide our real insecurities or a sword to break down social barriers? Getting better at fun. To have style that lifts others instead of bringing them down, you need to be very self-aware and brave enough to be yourself. Think about how changing how you laugh could affect your relationships and how you feel about yourself. What if you focused on funny things that make people laugh at your quirks instead of your flaws? How might this change not only how other people see you, but also how you see yourself? If you want a more satisfying and successful life, think about the Stoic tips on being calm and accepting yourself. Using humor in a healthy way can help you connect with others and build a stronger sense of who you are. This fits with the Stoic goal of living in line with your true nature, which leads to more peace and happiness. We need to do something about this. Think about how you use humor in your everyday life. Try to develop a sense of humor that shows a positive view of yourself and helps people connect with each other in a real way. Don't forget that the goal isn't to hide your fun side, but to make sure it grows in healthy ways. Health-wise and supporting yourself. Adopt the Stoic way of thinking by changing your comedic expressions so that you don't use humor to put yourself down, but as a way to enjoy life's many challenges. Watch how this changes your relationships and your health in general. What are some things you can do today to make your sense of humor more cheerful and upbeat? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're using Stoic principles to find fun and joy in everyday life as we look at the 5 mistakes we make that make us less attractive. Talk about not having any goals, reacting neediness, and too much self-deprecating comedy. We now know not only what these habits are, but also how they have a big effect on our lives and relationships. Stoic philosophy shows us how to avoid these problems and keep a positive attitude that leads to respect, kindness, and real relationships. Marcus Aurelius once said that the best way to get back at someone who hurt you is to be unlike them. In the context of our talk, this means that getting over behaviors that aren't attractive or helpful pushes us to show virtues that make our relationships and lives better. Each behavior mistake we've talked about is a chance to develop traits like humility, purposefulness, calmness, self-sufficiency, and a healthy sense of self-worth. Let us take these lessons to heart and use Stoic wisdom to change not only how other people see us, but also how we see ourselves as we try for a life full of peace, happiness, and kindness. Don't forget that the journey starts when we want to make changes in our interactions. We must first make changes in ourselves. Follow these Stoic rules every day and see how your life changes. Join the conversation and tell us how you're using these ideas in your own life. Let's build a community that values growth and virtue. If you find this chat deep and useful, please click the like button. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to share these deep ideas with everyone you know. If you're new, subscribe to our channel to get more deep Stoicism lessons that will help you grow. We'll see you in the next lesson.